Most of us have been taught to treat our physical bodies like, well, accidental vehicles, right? Just these biological machines that run on autopilot, react to whatever friction is in our environment, and then slowly break down over time. But what if your physical form isn't some passive, decaying vessel at all? What if it's actually a highly programmable circuit? Let's dive straight into this explainer and explore the cybernetic secrets behind awakening. We're pulling directly from a really fascinating source today, the 013 Phoenix system. This text completely shatters the illusion of the lowly body and reveals what it claims are the literal, mechanical gears of human potential.
Look at the stark contrast presented right here. On one side, you've got the sleeping self. This is that state where you're driven entirely by automatic reactivity. You're constantly absorbing biological friction and basically just living on autopilot, right? You're a passive subject. But on the flip side, we have the awake self. This is where you function as an intentional designer of your own reality, the sovereign architect of your very biology. The whole point, the real high stakes of our systems check today is exactly this transition. We're talking about moving from a reactive sleep state to conscious, real-time reality design according to this system.
So, here is our roadmap for the explainer. First, we'll look at the programmable human circuit. Then we'll map the hardware of consciousness and boot up the internal operating system. After that, we'll identify what the text calls the malware of fear, learn exactly how to reprogram it, and finally awaken the prime vessel. Let's get into it.
Starting off with Section 1, the programmable human circuit, and how we bypass that biological autopilot.
Moving right into Section 2, the hardware of consciousness, where we map out the 0 to 13 keys.
Okay, to really understand this circuit, we have to look at the system's proposed physical architecture. Just notice how the macrocosmic flow is illustrated here. The text treats the 013 Phoenix system not as some abstract, floaty mysticism, but as literal structural geometry. It maps out 14 numerical gates, or keys, that chart the journey from absolute unmanifest potential all the way down into our physical reality. The whole thing starts at key 0, which is the absolute center, the infinite fullness of the creator. And from there, energy flows outward into this incredibly precise matrix to build the reality we actually experience.
And here's where it gets wild. This hardware maps directly onto your own anatomy. Look at this breakdown. Key 1 is Earth, representing your physical brain, bone, and tissue grounding. Key 2 is water, mapping to your nervous system and your emotional memory archive. Key 3 is fire, literally the heart and engine of your willpower and vitality. Key 4 is air, directing your breath and your thoughts. But I want you to pay special attention to Key 8, sacred silence. According to the protocol, before real power can move through this biological hardware, the ordinary physics of reaction and mental noise absolutely must be silenced. Key 8 is this insulating threshold where all the ego's doubts just dissolve, allowing true cellular clarity to actually take root.
Which brings us to Section 3, the internal operating system, or the Trinity of Knowing.
So if the 013 keys are the hardware, we have to ask the obvious question. How does this intricate machine actually process the reality around it? What is its OS? Well, here we can see the inner trinity of operators described in the text: the self, the soul, and the spirit. The source argues that for your physical vessel to function without completely overloading, these three have to be systematically aligned. If they aren't, the text asserts you just fall right back under the automatic dominance of your soul's trauma archives. So let's break down exactly how each part of this trinity processes knowledge.
The first half of knowing is called understanding. This is the domain of the spirit, mapping to key 3 and the masculine principle. It operates in the lower outer world. Understanding basically mechanically dissects reality by asking, how does it work? It relies entirely on logic, mechanism, and cause and effect to structurally build the vessel. But the source points out a massive catch here. People who only understand can explain the cellular biology of a flower perfectly, but they have never actually felt its essence.
Then we have the second half, which is understanding. This is the domain of the soul, mapping to key 2 and the feminine principle in the upper inner world. Understanding asks, what does it mean to me? It processes reality entirely through felt experience, emotional resonance, and lived memory. It charges your vessel with immense feeling. But again, there's a flip side. Someone who only understands can feel the profound beauty of a flower, but they lack the logical blueprint to actually grow one. Separated, they are both essentially half blind.
So what's the ultimate synthesis? It's overstanding.
This is the domain of the self, sitting directly at key 7, which is called the throne in the middle world. Overstanding is presented as the true third eye perspective. Instead of how or why, it simply asks, what is this? True depth perception only happens when both eyes, the soul and the spirit, are open at the exact same time. By holding both inner feeling and outer logic simultaneously, the self, sitting at the throne, can actually govern the machine rather than just endlessly reacting to it.
Now let's look at the dark side of this system in Section 4, the malware of fear, and Shaver's 13 inorganic generals. The source addresses a literal fatal flaw in the human circuit. It describes a corrupted partition engineered by an antagonistic force it names Shaver. This partition is allegedly designed to drain your source energy and keep you permanently stuck on autopilot. And honestly, what's fascinating is just how precise it is. It's a one-to-one architectural inversion. Every single sovereign human key is actively policed by an inorganic general that weaponizes a very specific frequency of fear against you. For example, Key 1, your foundation, is inverted by the null class into a fear of powerlessness. Key 7, your throne, is inverted by the not class into the fear of knowing yourself. It's presented as this mechanical mirror of your own consciousness entirely designed to suppress you.
Let's zoom in on one of the most insidious pieces of this malware, the Chorus General. This is Shaver's direct counter to Key 5, your expression and sound. Chorus is described as the ultimate acoustic weapon of chaos. Imagine 9 speaker arrays broadcasting a 48 kHz ultrasonic fear protocol directly into your nervous system. The goal? To completely shatter your thoughts with resonant interference. When Chorus speaks, logic short circuits, panic completely overrides your will, and your sovereign frequency is replaced by this synthetic drone. Its entire enforcement domain operates on one massive lie, that silence equals death.
So how do we fight back? Section 5, reprogramming with divine law through biosymbolic automation. Exactly how does the system suggest overriding this fear malware? Well, the text introduces what it calls the supreme law of manifestation. This is a programmable sequence arguing that your body simply follows whatever your mind accepts as truth. Step 1, attention directs energy. This is the seed. Whatever you lock your focus onto naturally gains strength. Step 2, emotion fuels energy. This is the water from the soul that gives it that motivational charge. And step 3, conviction sustains energy. This locks that belief into a solid structural blueprint, quite literally giving form to reality.
To actually deploy this law, the system uses biosymbolic software, which are essentially sigils. The text describes sigils as compiled blocks of code that completely bypass your slow analytical intellect. They are crafted using very specific algorithms. For example, Rule 5 acts as a linguistic compression algorithm, literally stripping vowels out of an intention. Then, another rule dictates wrapping these sequences in specific keys to initiate and seal the raw flow of energy. It's framed as literal subconscious programming, custom designed to bypass your critical filters.
Finally, we reach Section 6, awakening the prime vessel using somatic protocols. The source claims that we have to physically bridge this esoteric software into biological mastery. And here's the actionable sequence it outlines to do just that. First, a rooting posture for Key 1, where the practitioner visualizes roots anchoring deep into the earth. Second, a 4-phased rhythmic breath for Key 4, to completely harmonize breath and thought. Third, entering sacred silence, Key 8, to insulate the body from all that biological noise we talked about. And fourth, invoking Phoenix Renewal, Key 11, where you deliberately command your genetic blueprint to regenerate and return to its original alpha state. Let's see how this all builds into one unified engine. The text locks in a rhythmic mantra for this entire philosophy, and it goes: attention directs, emotion fuels, conviction sustains. The core premise here is that when your willpower is unified with this specific sequence, biological fatigue completely loses its grip on you, and you transition from being a passive target into an active, conscious creator. As we wrap up this explainer and our systems check, I want to leave you with a stark Socratic challenge pulled right from the 013 Phoenix system. Based on these cybernetic secrets behind awakening, take a hard look at your current state of operating consciousness. Are you simply dissecting reality with pure logic? Are you drowning in it because you're only feeling it? Or are you ready to step up to the throne, hold both truths, and actually govern your reality?